Hi, I'm glad you could join me today. Today we're going to make a butterscotch cookie. It's really easy, very few ingredients, and it's gluten-free, of course. So we start with 3/4 of a cup of softened butter, 1 cup of, this is just regular brown sugar packed into the measuring cup because it needs to be packed in there, 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder, 2 cups of gluten-free flour with the xanthan gum in them, and 1 egg that's been beaten up, and that's all that's in this recipe. And we're going to put it all together, then we're going to put it on a piece of parchment, we're going to roll it into a little log and put it in the fridge until it sets up. And then we're going to slice it and bake it, and you're going to have a delicious, super easy cookie to make. Okay, let's bake. I've got my trusty wooden spoon, and I'm just going to smear this nice soft butter into my large bowl, and then I'm going to add my brown sugar to that. And then I'm just going to cream the brown sugar and butter together. The secret to this recipe is to make sure that your butter is really soft. If it's at all hard, it's really hard to get it to blend and combine with the brown sugar. And you have to keep stirring it and stirring it. It's kind of boring to watch me do this, but it doesn't take a long time, but it does take a minute or two. So you just stir it around. Now these are nice if you want to put a raisin in them. We just eat them this way. This is the way we like them. And if you're not a person who likes butter, you can use shortening in your cookies, or you can use margarine. We prefer the taste of butter, so that's why I use butter in just about everything. There we go. But if you don't, margarine or shortening will work as well. Alright, so we've got that done. That was pretty simple. Now we're going to take the beaten egg, and we're just going to dump that in there. I just stirred it around with a fork to get it easier to get into the mixture. I'm just going to take this fork and clean it off the spoon. As you can see, you get a little build-up on your wooden spoon. That's what it looks like after you get the egg all incorporated into the sugar and butter. So this is my 2 cups of gluten-free flour with the xanthan gum, and this is my 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder. And I'm just going to sift that with my little sifter. There we are. So set that in that bowl, move this over a little bit. I'm just going to dump all that flour right in with the batter. Try to move this out of the way. Then I'm just going to stir this around. And if you need to, if you are someone who really doesn't like using a spoon a lot, like myself, make sure you have nice clean hands and you can just dive right in here and work this into a dough. Now I'm going to try to use the spoon for a bit anyway to get it combined. And you'll see it comes together. At first it doesn't look like it'll ever work, but it will eventually. This is just a simple cookie, and it has a nice flavor, and I think you'll enjoy it if you try it. If you like, you can also, after you make the little log, put it into 2 different logs and freeze one so that you can take it out and bake it frozen and have a fresh cookie sometime in the future instead of making them all at once. If you live alone or just want to make a few cookies for yourself, you can decide how many you want at a time. And it freezes exceptionally well. Just make sure that it's well wrapped in plastic wrap and then inside an airtight bag. You don't need to thaw it out, just bring it out of the fridge, out of the freezer, and put it on a cutting board and slice it. There, we've got our dough all done. I'll show you what it looks like. That's what it looks like. So I'm going to put it on this parchment and make a log out of it. My hands are nice and clean. I've washed them before I started, which you always make sure you do. And you can decide how large you want these cookies to be. So and you just roll it up in the parchment and put it in the refrigerator. And then after they're cold, we'll bring them out and put them on a cutting board, slice them and bake them. So I'm just going to put that in the fridge. So we take this out of the fridge once it firms up. This is our nice butterscotch cookies. As you can see, they just look like a log. I made them fairly big. You can make them smaller, it's up to you. And then you cut them about, I don't know, 1/4 of an inch thick. As I told you before, we like big cookies. Then that way it doesn't seem like you've eaten nearly as many. You just need a sharp knife and a cutting board. And then you cut them. And we're going to place them on this cookie tray that has parchment paper on it. If you don't want to use parchment paper, you can grease your cookie sheet a little bit. With gluten-free cookies, you have to watch because they'll burn quickly. So you just put these cookies out. I'm going to put 12 of them out here. Oops, that one's a little crooked, so we won't use that one right now. We'll use it later. And they're going to go in the oven at 350 degrees for 8 to 10 minutes. Well, thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoy this recipe. The recipe will be in the video description below, and any questions, please leave us a comment. Thank you, and enjoy your cookies.